Have you ever wondered why some people instantly command respect the moment they open their mouths, while others get ignored? The secret isn't in what they say, it's in how they say it. If you want to speak with unshakable confidence, own every conversation, and make people listen, keep watching, because I'm about to reveal the game, changing secrets to mastering the art of powerful speech. And words are one of the most powerful tools a person can have. They can open doors, build empires, and command respect, yet so many people fail to use them effectively. They stutter, hesitate, and let their voices fade into the background. And what happens? No one listens. If you don't know how to speak, you won't be heard. If you don't know how to control a conversation, you'll always be controlled. When you open your mouth, you should speak with confidence. There should be no doubt in your words, no uncertainty in your tone. A strong speaker doesn't use filler words like "aw" or They don't mumble or whisper their thoughts as if they're afraid to be wrong. They speak like they know they're right. And because of that, people believe them. Speaking isn't just about saying words. It's about making people listen. It's about commanding attention without begging for it. When you walk into a room, your voice should make people turn their heads, not out of shock, but out of interest. They should want to hear what you have to say. The secret to this is purpose. Every word you say should have weight. Too many people talk just to fill silence, thinking that saying anything is better than saying nothing. That's wrong. The most powerful speakers know when to talk, but more importantly, they know when to be silent. They don't rush. They don't fumble for words. They speak, and then they let their words sink in. Another crucial skill is persuasion. If you want to win in life, you need to know how to make people see things your way. This isn't about manipulation, it's about conviction. When you speak with absolute certainty, people naturally follow. They trust a voice that doesn't waver, that doesn't apologize for existing. That's why leaders don't speak in weak, uncertain tones. They state their point and leave no room for doubt. Being direct and clear is another trait of great speakers. Stop over-explaining. Stop talking in circles. Say what you mean and say it in as few words as possible. The more complicated your message, the weaker it sounds. Powerful speech is simple, sharp, and straight to the point. If you want to master this skill, study those who have done it best. Watch how powerful leaders speak. See how they control conversations with ease. Notice how they never sound unsure, never seek approval, and never let their voices get drowned out. Learn from them, practice relentlessly, and apply it in your own life. Because if you can't talk, you can't win. And if you can master speech, you can master the world. Speaking isn't just about saying words, it's about making people listen. It's about commanding attention without begging for it. When you walk into a room, your voice should make people turn their heads, not out of shock, but out of interest. They should want to hear what you have to say. The ability to control a room through speech is an art, a skill that separates leaders from followers. Some people speak and their words vanish into thin air, barely acknowledged, easily forgotten. Others say a single sentence and suddenly the entire room falls silent, hanging on to every syllable. The difference isn't just in the words they choose, it's in how they say them. It's in the confidence behind the voice, the authority in the tone, and the unwavering belief in what they are saying. Imagine walking into a meeting where no one knows who you are. The first 5 seconds of your speech will determine how much attention you command for the rest of your talk. If you hesitate, if your voice shakes, if you fill the air with unnecessary words, people will tune out. But if you begin with certainty, with a voice that carries strength and clarity, you'll have their attention before they even realize it. Confidence is magnetic. People naturally gravitate toward those who seem to have control over their environment, and nothing showcases control more than the way you speak. The key to making people listen is eliminating hesitation. Weak speech is filled with doubt. Words like "oh, I think, maybe, and probably" tell the listener that you don't fully believe in what you are saying. And if you don't believe in your own words, why should they? The strongest speakers cut out all the excess, leaving behind only the core message delivered with conviction. They don't apologize for their words, and they certainly don't water them down to make them more palatable. Speaking with purpose means understanding that every word you say matters. Too many people talk just to fill silence, believing that as long as they are speaking, they are making an impact. But true impact comes from precision. Powerful speakers don't ramble. They don't use 10 words when 5 will do. They understand that silence, when used correctly, is just as powerful as speech. A well-timed pause, a moment of stillness between sentences forces people to lean in, to wait for what comes next. It creates tension, and tension keeps people engaged. Another factor that determines how much attention you command is your physical presence. The way you stand, the way you move, and even your facial expressions contribute to how your words are received. Someone who speaks with authority doesn't slouch, doesn't fidget, and doesn't avoid eye contact. They stand firm, they make deliberate gestures, and they look people in the eyes when they speak. These small details may seem insignificant, but they make all the difference in how you are perceived. Your tone of voice plays an equally critical role. A flat, monotone voice loses attention quickly. But a voice with variation, one that rises and falls in the right moments, that emphasizes key points with a shift in energy, keeps people engaged. Think about the greatest speeches in history. They weren't delivered in a single dull tone. They were alive, filled with passion, conviction, and rhythm. When you learn to master your tone, you learn to control the emotional response of your audience. You can make them excited, you can make them curious, and you can make them believe. One of the most powerful ways to hold attention is by speaking as if you already expect people to listen. Too many people start a sentence as if they are asking for permission to speak. They raise their pitch at the end of their sentences, turning statements into questions. They phrase their opinions as if they are waiting for approval. This signals weakness. Instead, speak with finality. Say what you mean and say it as if it is the absolute truth. When you carry yourself this way, people don't just listen, they accept your words as fact. The world respects those who command attention, not those who beg for it. If you have to ask people to listen, you've already lost. But if you walk into any situation with the ability to take control of the room through your speech, you put yourself in a position of power. Whether it's in business, in leadership, or in everyday interactions, the ability to make people listen is a skill that will open doors and create opportunities. Speaking is not just communication, it is dominance, it is influence. It is the ability to shape how people think, how they feel, and how they react. If you can master this, you can walk into any room, any situation, and leave with exactly what you came for. When you walk into a room, your voice should make people turn their heads, not out of shock, but out of interest. They should want to hear what you have to say. The way you speak determines whether people pay attention to you or ignore you completely. Some people speak and their words disappear into the air, barely acknowledged, easily forgotten. Others speak and their presence commands the entire room. The difference isn't just in the words they choose, it's in the tone, the confidence, the authority, and the energy they bring. Speaking with presence is not about being the loudest person in the room, it's about making every word count. Many people think they need to raise their voice or dominate conversations to be heard. But that is a mistake. Real presence comes from certainty. When you speak as though what you are saying is absolute, people have no choice but to listen. Weak speakers seek validation with their words. Strong speakers don't need validation. They speak as if what they are saying is already fact. This creates an energy that naturally draws attention. The biggest mistake people make when speaking is hesitation. Hesitation kills presence. When you stutter, when you second guess your words, when you let doubt creep into your voice, people tune out. If you don't sound sure of yourself, why should anyone else be? Think about the difference between someone who says, "I think this is a good idea," versus someone who says, "This is a good idea." The first statement leaves room for doubt. The second leaves no room for argument. The person who speaks with certainty wins every time. Another key element of commanding attention is pacing. Many people rush through their words, afraid of silence. But true presence comes from control. A powerful speaker is never in a hurry. They take their time. They pause when necessary. They let their words sink in before moving on. Silence, when used correctly, is just as powerful as speech. When you pause at the right moment, you create tension. People lean in waiting for what comes next. That's how you hold attention. Tone is equally important. A monotone voice loses interest quickly. If your voice stays at the same level throughout your speech, people will eventually tune out. The most powerful speakers understand the importance of variation. They know when to lower their voice to draw people in and when to raise it to emphasize a key point. This natural rhythm keeps people engaged without feeling forced. When your tone matches the intensity of your message, your words become far more impactful. Your physical presence also plays a major role in how people perceive your speech. If you slouch, if you fidget, if you avoid eye contact, you weaken your presence before you even speak. But if you stand with confidence, if your movements are deliberate, if you look people in the eyes when you talk, you send a different message. You tell them that you are someone worth listening to. The way you carry yourself determines how your words are received. Another way to make people listen is to eliminate unnecessary words. Many people talk too much without actually saying anything. They fill their sentences with like, and other weak phrases that dilute their message. Powerful speakers strip away all the excess. They say exactly what needs to be said, no more, no less. This makes their words stronger and more memorable. When every word has purpose, people listen more carefully. A crucial part of commanding attention is making people feel something. People don't remember facts, they remember how something made them feel. The best speakers don't just communicate information, they create an experience. They tell stories, they paint pictures with their words, they bring emotion into their voice. When you make people feel something, you make them remember you. Another mistake people make is looking for permission to speak. They phrase statements as questions. They ask for approval with their tone. This weakens their presence. Instead of saying, "Does that make sense?" say, "That makes sense." Instead of saying, "I think this will work," say, "This will work." These small changes have a massive impact on how people perceive you. When you remove doubt from your voice, people believe you without questioning why. The world respects those who speak with authority. If you have to beg for attention, you have already lost. But if you know how to command attention with your words, you automatically put yourself in a position of power. Whether in a business setting, a social situation, or even an everyday conversation, the ability to make people listen is one of the most valuable skills you can have. Speaking is not just about communication, it is about influence. It is about taking control of a room without having to ask for it. If you can master this skill, you will always be the person people listen to, and when you speak, your words will carry weight. If you want to win in life, You need to know how to make people see things your way. This isn't about manipulation, it's about conviction. When you speak with absolute certainty, people naturally follow. They trust a voice that doesn't waver, that doesn't apologize for existing. That's why leaders don't speak in weak, uncertain tones. They state their point and leave no room for doubt. The ability to make people see things your way is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It determines how much influence you have, how much respect you command, and ultimately how successful you become every day. People are trying to persuade others, whether in business, relationships, negotiations, or even casual conversations. Those who succeed are the ones who speak with conviction. They don't just express an opinion, they deliver it as truth. When you master the art of persuasion, you no longer have to chase opportunities. Opportunities come to you because people believe in what you say. People respond to certainty. If you sound unsure of yourself, they won't take you seriously. This is why strong speakers never dilute their message with phrases like "I think,"
maybe,
or "probably." These words signal doubt, and doubt weakens persuasion. Instead of saying, "I think this could work," say, "This will work." Instead of saying, "Maybe this is a good idea," say, "This is the best approach." People naturally follow those who speak with authority. They assume that confidence comes from knowledge, and if you sound certain, they will assume you know what you're talking about. A key part of persuasion is removing hesitation from your voice. Every time you hesitate, you lose a little bit of influence. If you stutter, if you fill the silence with and "ua," if you take too long to get to the point, people start doubting you. The strongest speakers don't rush their words, but they also don't hesitate. They speak in a steady, controlled manner that commands attention. They don't second guess themselves, and they don't wait for approval. They speak as if they expect people to agree with them. Another crucial element of persuasion is energy. People don't just listen to words, they respond to the energy behind those words. If you speak in a flat, lifeless tone, people will tune out. But if you speak with passion, if your voice is intensity, if your words carry emotion, people will feel that. Emotion is contagious. When you believe in what you're saying with every fiber of your being, others will believe it too. Persuasion is also about framing your message the right way. Weak speakers try to force people to agree with them, but strong speakers make people feel like they arrived at the conclusion themselves. Instead of saying, "You should do this," they say, "Here's why this is the best choice." Instead of saying, "You're wrong," they say, "Let me show you a different way of looking at this." When you frame your words in a way that makes people feel included in the decision, they are more likely to agree with you. Confidence is important, but so is clarity. If your message is complicated, if you ramble, if you overload people with too much information, you will lose them. The best persuaders get to the point quickly and clearly. They remove all the unnecessary details and focus on what matters most. Every word they use has a purpose. They don't waste time. They make their message impossible to ignore by making it simple, direct, and powerful. Your body language also plays a huge role in persuasion. If your words are strong but your posture is weak, people will sense a contradiction. If you avoid eye contact, if you fidget, if you shrink into yourself, your message loses impact. But if you stand tall, if you make steady eye contact, if your gestures are purposeful, people will trust you more. Your body must align with your words. When you look and sound confident, people will believe what you say without question. Another way to make people see things your way is through storytelling. Facts and logic are important, but stories are what truly move people. When you tell a compelling story, people don't just understand your point, they feel it. They put themselves in your shoes, they experience the emotions you're describing, and they connect with you on a deeper level. A well-told story can change minds faster than any argument. One of the most overlooked aspects of persuasion is silence. Weak speakers try to fill every second with words because they are afraid of losing attention. But strong speakers understand that silence, when used correctly, is just as powerful as speech. A well-placed pause can add weight to your words. It can create anticipation. It can make people hang on to your every word, waiting for what comes next. Silence is not a sign of weakness, it's a tool of control. The world belongs to those who can make others see things their way. Every successful leader, entrepreneur, an influencer knows how to persuade. They know how to make people believe in their vision. They know how to turn skeptics into followers. And they do it not by forcing their ideas onto others, but by speaking with such certainty, clarity, and passion that people naturally gravitate toward their way of thinking. If you can master this, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Being direct and clear is another trait of great speakers. Stop over-explaining. Stop talking in circles. Say what you mean and say it in as few words as possible. The more complicated your message, the weaker it sounds. Powerful speech is simple, sharp, and straight to the point. Clarity is power. When you speak with precision, people understand you immediately. There is no room for confusion, no opportunity for doubt. No wasted energy on unnecessary details. Too many people think that using big words or long explanations makes them sound intelligent, but the opposite is true. The smartest and most influential people in the world know how to take complex ideas and break them down into simple, digestible points. If your words are tangled, if your message is buried under layers of unnecessary information, people will stop listening. But when your words are crisp, when your sentences are structured for impact, people won't just listen, they will remember. One of the biggest mistakes people make in conversation is trying too hard to sound impressive. They use complicated phrases, they ramble on for too long, and they overload their speech with details that don't matter. They think this makes them look knowledgeable, but it actually has the opposite effect. If someone has to struggle to understand you, they will stop paying attention. If your words don't land immediately, they lose their impact. The greatest communicators in the world, leaders, speakers, negotiators, know that the strongest message is always the simplest one. They strip away the excess and deliver their point in a way that is impossible to ignore. Being direct also means eliminating weak language. Many people soften their speech without realizing it. They add unnecessary words that dilute their message. Phrases like, "I just wanted to say," "if that makes sense," or "maybe this is a good idea," make you sound unsure of yourself. A strong speaker would simply say, "This is important, here's the truth," or "this is the best solution." Every word should serve a purpose. If it doesn't, remove it. Confidence in speech comes from certainty. If you believe in what you're saying, there is no need for hesitation. There is no need for extra fluff or filler. When you speak with absolute clarity, you command respect. People are naturally drawn to those who sound like they know exactly what they are talking about. And the best way to sound like you know what you're talking about is to remove any trace of doubt from your speech. The problem with over-explaining is that it weakens your authority. If you keep adding extra details, if you keep circling back to the same point, you sound like you're trying to convince yourself instead of the person listening to you. This is why powerful speakers say what needs to be said once and then stop. They don't repeat themselves unnecessarily. They don't feel the need to justify every statement. They say what they mean, and they let the words stand on their own. Being direct doesn't mean being rude. It doesn't mean being aggressive. It means valuing people's time and energy enough to get to the point without wasting it. A direct speaker doesn't sugarcoat the truth, but they also don't speak in a way that alienates people. They find the balance between honesty and respect. They know how to phrase their words in a way that is both powerful and effective. Clear communication is also about structure. If your thoughts are scattered, if your sentences jump from one idea to another without a clear connection, people will get lost. A strong message has a logical flow. It moves from one point to the next with purpose. If you want to be understood, you need to organize your speech in a way that makes sense. This means removing distractions, staying focused on the main idea, and delivering your words in a structured, intentional manner. One of the greatest advantages of speaking clearly and directly is that it eliminates misunderstandings. Miscommunication happens when people use vague language, when they beat around the bush, or when they add unnecessary complexity to their words. When you are direct, people don't have to guess what you mean. They don't have to interpret your words. They hear exactly what you are saying. And that level of clarity creates confidence in you and your message. In any conversation, the person who speaks with the most clarity is usually the one who holds the most power. Whether a negotiation, a business meeting, or a personal discussion, the one who can articulate their point in the simplest, strongest way is the one who is remembered. The one who speaks in circles, who hesitates, who over-explains, those people are forgotten. If you want to be taken seriously, if you want to be respected, if you want people to truly listen to you, learn to be clear and direct. Say what you mean, cut out anything that weakens your message, and deliver your words with confidence. The world listens to those who speak with certainty, and the ability to communicate with power will set you apart in every area of life. Emotional control is one of the most important aspects of effective communication. The ability to remain composed, no matter the situation, separates strong individuals from weak ones. Many people let their emotions dictate their words. They react impulsively, allowing frustration, anger, or insecurity to shape how they speak. But the moment you let emotions take control, you lose power. True confidence comes from discipline, the ability to speak with purpose, not out of momentary emotion. When you let emotions control your speech, you give power to the other person. If someone can make you angry, they can make you say things you didn't plan to say. If someone can frustrate you, they can break your composure. When you raise your voice, when you lose patience, when you start speaking without thinking, you lose the ability to persuade or influence. People respect those who remain calm under pressure. A person who never loses control of their emotions never loses control of a conversation. Emotional control in speech doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means understanding them, managing them, and using them strategically. Many people assume that being emotional makes them more persuasive. They believe that showing anger or frustration will make people take them seriously. In reality, emotional outbursts weaken your position. The moment you let emotion override logic, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is a sign of weakness. The most respected individuals, whether in business, leadership, or social settings, are those who can handle any situation with poise and clarity. Maintaining emotional control means never letting anyone see that they have affected you. If someone insults you, remain unfazed. If someone disagrees with you, do not react defensively. People will test you. They will try to provoke you to see how you respond. If you react emotionally, they know they have control. But if you remain calm, if you speak with the same level of confidence, regardless of the situation, you establish dominance. The one who controls their emotions controls the room. This level of discipline requires self-awareness. You must recognize the triggers that make you emotional and learn to neutralize them. Many people struggle with criticism. The moment they feel judged, they become defensive. But defensiveness is a sign of insecurity. Strong individuals do not need to defend themselves emotionally. They let their actions and words speak for themselves. When someone questions you, respond with logic, not emotion. Instead of getting defensive, stay composed and respond with clarity. One of the most powerful tools in maintaining emotional control is mastering the pause. Many people feel the need to respond instantly in conversations, especially when emotions are high. But speaking too quickly often leads to saying something you regret. The strongest communicators understand the power of silence. Instead of reacting immediately, they take a moment to gather their thoughts. A well-placed pause creates impact. It shows that you are in control, that you are deliberate with your words. It forces others to listen more closely. Another aspect of emotional control is tone. People don't just listen to words, they listen to how those words are said. If your tone is rushed, anxious, or aggressive, people will pick up on that energy. But if your tone is steady, confident, and controlled, you automatically command more respect. A person who can control their tone can control the mood of a conversation. They can de-escalate tension, redirect discussions, and maintain authority without needing to raise their voice. Body language is also a reflection of emotional control. Many people say the right words, but their body betrays them. Nervous fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, shifting posture. All of these are signs of insecurity. When you are in control of your emotions, your body should reflect that. Stand tall, make deliberate movements, maintain steady eye contact. When your body language aligns with your words, your message becomes unshakable. A key strategy in emotional control is detachment. This means separating yourself from the emotion of the moment and looking at the bigger picture. Many arguments, debates, and disagreements are won by the person who remains the most logical. If you can detach from your immediate feelings and focus on the goal of the conversation, you will always have the upper hand. People who react emotionally often say things that weaken their position. They apologize for things they didn't need to apologize for. They make statements they later regret. But when you remain detached, you stay in control of every word you say. Emotional control also allows you to read others more effectively. When you are calm, you can observe the emotions of others without being caught up in them. You can see when someone is trying to manipulate you, when they are speaking out of fear, or when they are losing control themselves. This gives you a strategic advantage. You can adjust your approach accordingly, knowing that the more emotional they become, the more logical and composed you should remain. The strongest negotiators, speakers, and leaders in the world have mastered emotional control. They never speak out of anger. They never allow frustration to dictate their words. They maintain a steady presence in every conversation, which makes them impossible to shake. When you develop this level of discipline, people will take you more seriously. They will listen to you not because you demand it, but because your presence commands it. Every great speaker understands this fundamental truth. The one who stays in control of their emotions stays in control of the conversation. When you master this skill, you become unshakable. You can walk into any room, face any situation, and communicate with power because you are not controlled by fleeting emotions. Instead, you are driven by purpose, by strategy, and by an unbreakable sense of confidence. The way you carry yourself determines how people perceive you before you even speak. Your body language, posture, and overall presence communicate more than words ever can. People make judgments about your confidence, authority, and credibility in seconds based on how you present yourself. If you want to command respect, you must be intentional about how you move, stand, and engage with the world. Strong communication isn't just about what you say. It's about how you say it and the energy you bring into a room. Posture is one of the first things people notice. A person who stands tall with their shoulders back and head high instantly appears more confident and self-assured. On the other hand, someone who slouches, looks down, or shifts uncomfortably sends a message of insecurity. People respect those who take up space, who move with certainty, and who own their physical presence. Standing with good posture doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you feel about yourself. Studies have shown that adopting a strong posture can actually increase feelings of confidence and reduce stress. The way you carry yourself physically influences your mental state, and when you feel more powerful, you naturally communicate more effectively. Eye contact is another critical aspect of presence. When you speak, look people in the eyes. It shows confidence, honesty, and engagement. Avoiding eye contact makes you appear unsure of yourself or even deceptive. Strong communicators don't dart their eyes around the room or look at the floor. They lock in with the person they're speaking to, making their words feel more impactful. However, eye contact should feel natural, not forced. Staring too intensely can come off as aggressive, while looking away too frequently makes you seem uncertain. The balance isn't steady. Purposeful eye contact that conveys certainty and connection. Hand movements also play a major role in how your message is received. People who fidget, touch their face, or play with objects while speaking weaken their presence. These habits suggest nervousness and lack of control. Instead, use intentional, purposeful hand gestures to emphasize your points. Open hand movements signal honesty and openness, while sharp, controlled gestures highlight authority and conviction. The strongest communicators use their hands naturally to support their words rather than distract from them. Your voice is another tool of presence. A weak, uncertain voice can undermine even the most powerful words. The tone, volume, and pace at which you speak all contribute to how people perceive you. Speaking too softly makes you easy to ignore, while speaking too loudly can come across as overcompensating. The key is to project your voice with confidence, making sure it carries across the room without sounding forced. A steady, controlled tone commands attention. Avoid filler words like and uwa, which signal hesitation. Instead, embrace silence when needed. Pauses are powerful. They allow your words to sink in and add weight to your statements. Movement should also be intentional. Pacing aimlessly while talking can make you seem nervous or scattered. Standing completely still can feel rigid and unnatural. The best communicators move with purpose. They step forward when making a strong point. They use subtle shifts in stance to engage their audience, and they avoid unnecessary movements that dilute their presence. Everything about the way you move should reinforce your message rather than distract from it. Dressing well also enhances presence. Appearance matters because people make subconscious judgments based on how you present yourself. This doesn't mean you need expensive clothes, but you should always look put together. Clean, well-fitted clothing, good grooming, and attention to detail show that you take yourself seriously. When you look the part, people assume you belong in positions of influence. The way you dress affects not only how others see you, but also how you feel about yourself. Dressing well increases confidence, and confidence translates into more powerful communication. Another aspect of presence is stillness. Many people underestimate the power of simply being still and composed in conversation. The ability to remain relaxed, unshaken, and fully in control while others are speaking is a sign of authority. People who fidget excessively, shift weight constantly, or react impulsively to everything being said appear uncertain and easy to influence. When you master stillness, you send the message that you are in control of yourself and the situation. Breathing also plays a role in maintaining a commanding presence. Shallow, rapid breathing is a sign of nervousness. Deep, controlled breathing keeps you grounded, steady, and relaxed. Before speaking, take a breath. It prevents rushed speech, keeps your voice strong, and allows you to think more clearly. When you control your breathing, you control your energy. A person who breathes with intention carries themselves with a natural sense of calm and authority. Space is another element of presence. People who shrink into themselves, cross their arms tightly, or keep their hands in their pockets take up less space and appear less significant. Those who stand tall, keep their arms relaxed, and use open body language command more attention. The amount of space you take up affects how people perceive your confidence level. Expanding your presence doesn't mean being overbearing. It means not being afraid to own your space and move with purpose. Energy is also a crucial factor. Some people enter a room and immediately draw attention, not because they are loud, but because their presence is strong. This comes from a combination of confidence, composure, and self-belief. When you walk into a room with the expectation that you belong there, people notice. Energy isn't about being the loudest or most animated person in the room. It's about carrying yourself in a way that commands respect without needing to demand it. Presence is not just about how you look or sound. It's about how you make others feel. When you walk into a room, do people feel a shift in energy? Do they sense confidence, authority, and certainty in you? Or do they overlook you? Those who master their presence don't need to prove themselves with excessive words or forced behavior. They simply exist in a way that naturally attracts attention and respect. Developing a powerful presence is a skill that can be learned. It requires awareness, practice, and a commitment to self-improvement. The strongest communicators in the world understand that presence is about consistency. It's not something you switch on and off. It's a way of being. From the way you walk into a room to the way you hold a conversation, every detail matters. When you cultivate presence, people listen before you even say a word. Listening is one of the most underrated skills in communication. Many people assume that talking well is the key to influence, but the truth is that the best communicators are also the best listeners. Most people do not truly listen. They simply wait for their turn to speak. They focus on what they want to say next instead of fully absorbing what is being said to them. This is a mistake because when you fail to listen, you miss valuable information, weaken your presence, and lose the ability to respond effectively. Real listening is about more than just hearing words. It is about understanding, processing, and using information strategically. One of the biggest advantages of being a great listener is the ability to read between the lines. People often say one thing but mean another. They reveal insecurities, emotions, and hidden motives in the way they speak. If you are paying attention, you can pick up on these subtleties and use them to your advantage. The strongest communicators do not just respond to words. They respond to tone, hesitation, emphasis, and body language. A person may say they are confident, but if their voice wavers or their posture's weak, the truth is different. By truly listening, you gain insight into what a person really thinks, not just what they claim to believe. Listening also gives you control in any conversation. When you let others talk more, you collect information while they reveal their position, their emotions, and their thoughts. The more a person talks, the more they expose. When you listen, you put yourself in a position of power. People who dominate conversations by talking too much often give away their weaknesses, overshare, or say things they later regret. But when you listen more than you speak, you maintain control over what you reveal while gathering useful knowledge about the other person. A good listener also makes people feel heard and understood, which builds stronger relationships. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel valued. If you are the type of person who genuinely listens, others will respect you more. They will trust you more. They will feel more inclined to open up to you, giving you access to more information and deeper connections. Strong communication is not just about making yourself heard, it is about making others feel heard as well. When you master this, you become more persuasive, more respected, and more influential. Another benefit of listening is that it allows you to respond with precision. When people do not listen, they often respond impulsively, missing the key points of what was said. This weakens their arguments, makes them seem less intelligent, and reduces their ability to navigate conversations effectively. But when you listen carefully, you can craft responses that are sharp, direct, and relevant. You avoid unnecessary words, irrelevant points, and wasted energy. Instead, your words carry weight because they are based on a deep understanding of what was said before you spoke. Patience is a crucial part of effective listening. Many people interrupt others because they assume they already know what is going to be said. This is a mistake. Cutting people off or speaking over them signals impatience, arrogance, and a lack of respect. It also increases the risk of misinterpretation. When you let someone finish speaking completely, you ensure that you have the full context before responding. This makes your replies more accurate and prevents misunderstandings. Listening is also a powerful tool in negotiation. Whether in business, personal discussions, or debates, the person who listens the most has the advantage. When you let others talk first, they reveal their position before you reveal yours. They show you their concerns, their priorities, and their mindset. This allows you to structure your own words in a way that aligns with what they care about most. Instead of making random points, you can shape your argument based on what they have already expressed, increasing your chances of getting what you want. Great listeners also know how to ask the right questions. When you listen carefully, you can identify gaps in someone's reasoning, weaknesses in their arguments, or areas where they are uncertain. By asking smart, precise questions, you guide the conversation in a direction that benefits you. People who do not listen tend to ask generic questions or irrelevant ones, but those who listen closely can craft questions that challenge the other person's position or lead them to a desired conclusion. Another mistake people make is assuming that silence is a weakness. Many feel uncomfortable with pauses in conversation, rushing to fill every gap with words. But silence can be one of the most powerful tools in communication. A well-placed pause forces the other person to think, reconsider, or even reveal more than they intended. Silence creates tension, and in many cases, the person who speaks first to break that tension gives up control of the conversation. By being comfortable with silence, you demonstrate confidence and patience, two traits that naturally command respect. Emotional control is another aspect of listening that makes it powerful. When you truly listen, you avoid reacting impulsively to words that might trigger an emotional response. Many people hear something they dislike and immediately react with anger, frustration, or defensiveness. This weakens their position. But when you stay calm, absorb what is being said, and think before responding, you maintain control of the conversation. You do not let the other person dictate your emotions. Instead, you process everything with clarity and respond in a way that serves your purpose. One of the reasons many people struggle with listening is that they let their ego get in the way. They feel the need to prove themselves, to dominate the conversation, or to always have the last word. But true confidence does not come from talking the most. It comes from knowing when to listen and when to speak. The person who listens with intent and then speaks with precision will always have more influence than the one who talks endlessly without real awareness. Mastering the skill of listening will improve every area of communication. It allows you to gather more information, respond more effectively, build stronger relationships, and command more respect. It is a skill that requires patience, discipline, and self-awareness, but those who develop it gain a significant advantage in every conversation. People naturally respect those who make them feel heard, and when you become a great listener, you will notice that others start listening to you more as well. The best communicators know that power is not just in the words they say, but in the moments they choose to be silent and absorb everything around them. Confidence in speech is not just about the words you use, but about how you deliver them. The way you speak determines how people perceive you, whether they respect you, listen to you, or dismiss you. Many people assume that confidence is something you are born with, but in reality, it is a skill that can be developed. The key is understanding how to project certainty, authority, and conviction in every conversation. When you speak with confidence, people naturally take you more seriously. One of the most important aspects of confident speech is eliminating hesitation. People who lack confidence often use filler words like like, or these words weaken your message and make you seem unsure. Instead of filling silence with meaningless sounds, learn to embrace pauses. A moment of silence before you speak gives the impression that you are thoughtful and deliberate with your words. It also forces people to pay attention. Powerful speakers do not rush. They take their time because they know that what they say matters. Another key to confidence is speaking with a steady and controlled tone. Many people betray their nervousness through their voice. They speak too fast, too softly, or with a shaky tone. When you control your voice, you control the way people react to you. A strong, clear voice commands attention. Volume plays a role as well. Speaking too quietly makes it seem like you are unsure of yourself, while shouting comes across as overcompensating. The goal is to speak at a firm, natural volume that conveys certainty without aggression. Your choice of words also impacts how confident you sound. People who constantly seek validation weaken their message. Phrases like, I think, I'm not sure, but, or does that make sense, make you seem uncertain. Instead, speak with certainty. Say, this is what I believe, instead of, I think this might be right. Say, this is the solution, instead of, maybe we could try this. When you believe in your words, others will too. Confidence is also reflected in pacing. Nervous speakers tend to talk too fast, trying to rush through their words. This not only makes them harder to understand, but also gives the impression that they do not fully believe in what they are saying. Slowing down your speech naturally increases your authority. When you take your time, people are more likely to absorb what you are saying. Every great speaker knows that the power of speech is not just in the words themselves, but in the pauses and pacing that give those words impact. Body language is another crucial factor in speaking with confidence. People do not just listen to words, they observe how those words are delivered. A person who avoids eye contact, fidgets, or shifts their weight while speaking looks uncertain. On the other hand, someone who stands tall, maintains steady eye contact, and uses controlled gestures exudes confidence. When you align your body language with your words, your message becomes more convincing. One of the biggest mistakes people make is apologizing unnecessarily. Saying sorry too often makes you seem insecure and weakens your position. Unless you have genuinely made a mistake, there is no reason to apologize for your opinions, your presence, or your words. Confident speakers do not seek permission to express themselves. They speak with conviction, knowing that their voice deserves to be heard. Preparation also plays a significant role in confidence. Many people struggle to speak confidently because they are unsure of what they want to say. The more knowledge you have on a subject, the more naturally confident you will feel. Preparation allows you to speak with certainty and respond to challenges without hesitation. Confidence is not about pretending to know everything. It is about being secure in what you do know and being open to learning more. Handling pressure is another key aspect of confident speech. In high-pressure situations, many people crack under stress, their voices become weak, and their words lose impact. But those who remain calm, composed, and articulate even under stress gain respect. The ability to speak confidently in any situation, whether in an argument, a presentation, or a difficult conversation, sets you apart. The key is to stay focused on your message and not let emotions control your speech. Confidence also comes from experience. The more you practice speaking, the more comfortable and natural it becomes. Many people fear public speaking or difficult conversations simply because they lack experience. The only way to overcome this is through repetition. The more you speak, the more you learn what works, what doesn't, and how to refine your communication style. Every time you engage in a conversation, you are training yourself to be a better, more confident speaker. Another strategy for building confidence in speech is visualization. Before entering a conversation or delivering a speech, take a moment to visualize yourself speaking with confidence. Imagine yourself standing tall, speaking clearly, and commanding attention. This mental rehearsal helps reinforce positive behavior and reduces anxiety. Many top speakers use visualization techniques to prepare for important speeches, and it is a powerful tool for anyone looking to improve their communication skills. Surrounding yourself with confident communicators can also have a significant impact on your own speech. If you spend time with people who speak with authority and clarity, you will naturally start to adopt similar habits. Confidence is contagious, and learning from those who excel in communication can accelerate your own growth. Ultimately, confidence in speech is about belief in your words, your knowledge, and your ability to communicate effectively. It is not about being the loudest person in the room or dominating every conversation. True confidence is quiet, steady, and undeniable. When you develop the ability to speak with certainty, people will naturally listen. They will respect your words, not because you force them to, but because your presence and delivery demand it. Confidence is a skill, and like any skill, it can be mastered with practice, awareness, and the willingness to improve.